All right. Party people in the place to be, vandals, and all you spaced adventurers out there. This is a brand new episode of How'd We Get Here? And this is another one of our Hot Flash Revisited episodes. We kind of talked about the first episode of this, our issue of this book a while back. I think it was probably in one of our first Hot Flashes, right, Joey?
It was in the earlier ones, probably the second or third, maybe. The first one we did was the Berg and slightly exaggerated was the first one. I think this might have been the second or third episode of Hot Flashes. Anyway, it was early on. We did Space Ghost numero uno.
And this is really cool, because usually we do like to do these follow-ups, but this is the first time where like we've actually been given like the whole series so far by the author. David's actually like, usually we just get the first issue and it's like you read it the rest yourself, you bums, but like David's actually hooked us up with all 7 issues so far, which is pretty gangster, man. And I gotta say, I'm really appreciating it, man. We're gonna get all into David Pepose and Jonathan Lau's reimagining of Space Ghost in just a minute, but Joey, you got to check in, right, bro?
Yeah, I'll do the easy, quick one that kind of, or should I do that at the end because it might transition into yours?
What do you mean?
The shows.
Okay.
I'll do I went and saw Better Lovers this weekend. They came to Montreal. Great show. The guys put on a fantastic show. Big time energy. And I picked up the show poster.
I like it, man.
It's really, yeah. And then it's screen print. I should turn on my light because you can't see it well. It's a screen print, and it's designed by I guess the guitarist, the former from Every Time I Die, Jordan Buckley, designed it, and I guess he does most of the art for Better Lovers because he's actually a pretty good artist, and I think that's what if he didn't do music, he'd probably be making art all the time. Here, see it better with the light. There you go. Really pops. Good cardstock. It's screen print, so you really see like it's a screen print, so you can really see like the different colors. It's really vibrant. So I'll probably eventually get that framed and put it up with. So that's like the new thing I like to do. I'm not the t-shirts, and I was gonna get a t-shirt, but they didn't have my size. But I love. Now that you don't get ticket stubs anymore, right, as a memento from the show and stuff, I really like the idea of doing tour posters because it has all the cities and the dates. So you have like that specific, the date that you were there, and it kind of helps refresh your memory of it and stuff. And it's beautiful. Like it's something really nice you can hang on the wall. So I really dig it when the bands do that, put up their tour posters at the merch table. It's pretty fucking cool.
They don't do ticket stubs at all?
Sometimes you can offer. I think they can mail them to you if you really want it, but I think less and less now. I've only seen it offered a couple times. And now it's all printed through a printer, right? A laser printer. So it's not like a card stock stub where you have the perforated where they just break off the end and you keep the narrow, like almost bookmark looking. Now it's like a printed out flimsy piece of paper when you go to right to the window, the ticket booth. I mean, yeah.
So, technology sucks, man.
Yeah, it does get rid of a lot of stuff. It's handy because you can just pull out your phone and they can scan it to get in. So you don't have to worry like, oh, I forgot my tickets. It doesn't matter because it's digital. You have it on your phone, right? But I remember for a while you could pay extra. Right, you pay extra and they'd send you physical tickets. But anyway, I don't even see that offered that much anymore.
Hey Chase, how's it going, man?
Yeah, that's a fun series. It is a fun series.
We're gonna keep it a little light on spoilers because the trade is not out yet, so we're not going to actually discuss the 6th issue because there's no kind of way we could talk about it without kind of giving away what happens at the end of issue 4 and 5, which is probably the best part of the arc so far, or the story so far. So we're gonna keep it a little light for people that haven't got to read it yet. But yeah, we're gonna get deep into it in just a minute. Joey's got a couple more things he wants to talk about.
Yeah, been continuing with Arcane. Holy shit, episode 4, 5, and 6 just dropped the past weekend, and I was a blubbering mess all weekend. Pat got home from work. She did some overtime this weekend, and I was all like, my eyes were all bloodshot and shit. She's like, "What's wrong?" I said, "I've been watching fucking Arcane. It's been every episode made me fucking cry, man. It was crazy. Fucking, I'm a wreck. That show is gonna turn me into a fucking basket case." Then obviously Dan to Dan is a weekly thing that drops every week, and like you said, I missed half it. I'll have to rewatch it because I got a phone call for work while I was watching it, so I missed the second half. And you said that one starts to really your the old emotional heartstrings as well.
Yeah, episode 7 gets really, really sad with the ghost's backstory in it. Like, yeah, it lot like you were talking about in Arcane, man. It's pretty gut wrenching. I also watched the new episodes of Cobra Kai.
Oh,
yeah, I'm really happy that's wrapping up soon. Oh, I was really surprised. There's this kung fu chick I watch on Instagram. She's in the show. She's like the new bad girl that's kicking everybody's asses in the competition. I was like hella happy to see her on there because she's so badass on Instagram. So like I was wondering like, why isn't this chick famous? And like I guess she is now. So good for her.
Cool. That's kind of cool.
Her name's Ryan something. Like she's a little blondie. I mean, she's tiny, man, but she could work a bow staff like a motherfucker, man.
Yeah.
She'd be all 4 Ninja Turtles in herself.
Yeah, I saw some comments where people were like, "Yeah, I think it's time for Cobra Kai to wrap it up." And
well, this is the last season. There's only going to be one more little batch of episodes, and it's done. And someone said they were like, "Yeah, I think it's good that it's." Well, me and Fred were talking, and we're like, they should have graduated this cast and like
moved on to a new like.
Yeah, it should have been the black kid and Daniel's son and stuff, and as the new kids. And like they should have wrapped it up with them and got rid of the Blue Beetle and like the older kids, you know what I mean? Because they kind of already have won so many things and stuff like that, and they already brought in younger kids in these last couple of seasons, and now they're just sidelined them all, and they're just all watching the older kids on TV in these episodes, and you're just kind of like, well, why did they introduce these kids? What the fuck?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's kind of my big check. And I watched some stuff with my dad. I watched the movie Wolves. It came out on Apple TV with Brad Pitt and George Clooney. Really fun movie. I had a blast with it, dude.
Yeah.
Really kind of just goofy, fun crime movie.
Mm-hmm. And those two play off each other well. Like, I mean, they've got good chemistry, right?
But the whole movie's written really good. It doesn't just rely on them and their chemistry. Like the whole thing's really well done, I thought.
Like when they go meet up their special person there.
Yeah, the doctor.
Yeah, the doctor.
I got a guy. It's my guy too. Wait, you said you were exclusive.
Yeah. I love the little. Yeah, it's good. And just the way that it gets introduced, you know, where they're both. Anyway, I like, just trying to one up each other too. Like it's good. It's good. Mm-hmm.
But now we're going to get into the feature presentation. We'll be talking about David Pepose and Jonathan Lau's Space Ghost. And I really got to say, man, this is a rad little book. I would say that this is, if you got a kid that is looking to get into more mature comics, I would say this is a good gateway. You know, instead of like just giving them like an Alan Moore book or something like that, like let him read this Space Ghost book because like it's pretty violent. Like Space Ghost would be breaking noses and drawing blood, but like it's still got that Hanna-Barbera camp and charm to it at the same time. So I think it's a great middle area between like, you know, old school Space Ghost and like having your kids read some Alan Moore shit. You know what I mean? Like it's like a nice little buffer zone. Plus, like some of these covers are just great, man. Like I'm not a huge variant guy, but like I would pick up a couple of the variants for this book. Over
Jay Lee, Joe Quesada, Cho. You know, you got quite a few people, and like you said, they have a lot of like those throwback style. And you know, you got Jay Lee. That's the Quesada one there. I mean,
I love the Jay Lee one with Zorak though, man. Like the way he draws Zorak is so good.
Yeah, he is good. Like it's got he's great at drawing Zorak. Yeah. But
No, actually, I saw that they had done one a couple years ago. I didn't know if they actually tried to do a more mature Space Ghost as well. I you said Joe Kelly wrote it. He's good. I might actually check it out, but I mostly when they did all that Hanna-Barbera stuff a couple years ago at DC, I kind of only really checked out Mark what's his name? The Mark Russell's Snagglepuss comic. I really like that. That's kind of the only one of those Hanna-Barbera books I really got into personally. Did you read any of those DC Hanna-Barbera books when they came out? No.
No. Like
I just
Flintstones and the whole gang there.
Yeah.
I
just read Snagglepuss because Mark Russell just went straight out and said, like, yeah, I made him a gay playwright. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, I'll check that out.
Is Scooby-Doo Hanna-Barbera?
Yeah.
It is, eh? Yeah, because they had the Scooby-Doo ones. They had, like you said, the Snagglepuss. Yeah. Yeah, I've always wanted to read the Scooby-Doo ones because I heard those were kind of pretty fun. But, yeah.
The Scooby-Doo Apocalypse or whatever it was called?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. I can't remember who the artist was. It was a pretty good artist on it, too. But, I mean, well, probably check it out eventually.
But I mean, this book kind of jumps right into it, like with the gritty, man, like right off a jump, like Jan and Jace, like their colony's just been decimated. Their dad's like telling them, like, you got to keep Blip safe. And that's a cool thing too, that they actually made Blip something cool. He's not just like a weird chimp mascot like he was in the old cartoon. He's actually kind of like the reason why people are chasing him. He's like a super advanced AI monkey and stuff like that. So like that's why RoboCorp's after them, and like they just smoke their dad right in front of them and stuff. So it gets pretty brutal. But Jan's a little badass, man. Like she's got her blaster, she's like smoking fools. And but this first scene where a Space Ghost drops in, man, like, ooh, that's when you knew that this book was going to be good. And the way I'm glad that they got a really good artist, man. Jonathan Lau, like he put some weight behind Space Ghost, you know what I mean? He didn't try to like make him look badder or anything. Like he didn't try to update his look at all. He just put some weight behind what was already there, and he just made him look fucking iconic, you know what I mean? Like you got these like shadow scenes as a Space Ghost whooping.
Love that.
Yeah.
Like you said, a great introduction. Fantastic introduction. Way he's walking out of the shadows, like with his two fists by his side. Great action pose. I mean, like you said, if you're gonna introduce a character, you know, that's already kind of established and known, then I mean, hats off. They did a fantastic job.
Yeah, well, because like, I mean, I guess I should get into my background with Space Ghost. When I was a little kid, I would watch him on USA Network. Like they would show the old Space Ghost cartoons. And then when I was a little older, I loved Coast to Coast, man. So that's where like most of like the iconography for these characters and my memory of them, a lot of them comes from Coast to Coast, you know, like Brack and Zorak and stuff like that. So like when I'm going to talk about later on in the episode, like the way that they were able to like make these characters threatening, it took some doing, in my opinion. And then you know, kind of like, you know, Batman was he had the post-crisis era where Batman was allowed to be gritty and strong, but there was that pre-crisis where he was cheesy and stuff. And like for me, there was never a crisis era for Space Ghost until now, and this is like the first time I get to see like, you know, the post-crisis Batman version of Space Ghost, which is kind of neat. And it's a daunting task, and I think that Pepose and Lau do it wonderfully. I think that they really kind of
all the elements are there, like you said. The two kids, the mask, like the monkey as a mascot type thing, like the banter back and forth between the brother and sister, and then with Space Ghost, like all the elements are there. Like it definitely has that throwback feel, right? This whole series, as you're reading it, it feels like an old comic without it feeling dated with the way he, like you said, updated it and made it more modern. So it definitely pays its respects while, you know, appealing to the modern reader.
It has a little more stake to it than like a classic comic has, but at the same time, like the banter and the way that they talk is like Space Ghost is still like, blast it, I said, you know, like,
Yeah,
Like
that old, yeah,
he's
yeah,
still
for
a
sure.
fuddy. He's like a fuddy duddy, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
not like
yeah.
they made Space Ghost some cursing sailor or something like that,
No, no,
which
they
is
kept,
cool.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah,
So
love
like
it.
the kids, they don't know what's to make a Space Ghost, so they cheese it when they see him. And like Jan even shoots his ass, man. And so like they run and hide, and they run into the Galactic Patrol, which they think is there to save them. Which we get to introduce to Brack, who I can't see without thinking about bologna sandwich. But like, yeah, he's a little shit like he's supposed to be, and like you find out that like they're crooked cops and stuff, and they're on Robo Corp's payroll to get the chimp. And this is where Space Ghost drops down from the ceiling and just smashes ass, dude. And like the kids, this is where you kind of find out that the kids are really handy on their feet, because like Jan's able to circumvent Brack's little glowy ball of death thing that he tries to use on Space Ghost, and like they double team his ass, and Space Ghost just totally like cripples his ass, tells him, "You're gonna spend 6 months in traction, boy." And you get this really kind of sad scene with the kids, like wondering like what's gonna happen with them. And Space Ghost like, "You don't have to worry about that anymore, kids. I'm here." You know what I mean? You get this really kind of touching, heroic moment, and it is a very satisfying first issue, and that's a good thing. Another thing that I like about this book is it's all one and done or 2-issue arcs. You know what I mean? He's not trying to write for the trade, really, or at least not yet. So I'm really appreciating that now in modern books. Like I do love reading trade paperbacks, but like sometimes with like superhero books, I like the little short like
Yeah,
bites. You know what I mean? Like it
like I
reminds.
think what Zorak is the only one that's a 2-issue
Yeah, he
story.
gets a 2-issue like
Yeah,
arc so far.
yeah, yeah. Which is, I love it too. Like the villain of the week type thing. Like it's fun. And like issue 6, we won't talk about it because we don't want to spoil it, because the trade is coming out next week, November 26th. I believe they're doing a soft cover and a hardcover edition for it, so you'll be able to pick those up next week in trade paperback form. But like just the intro of that villain, like he has that one splash page with his fists in the air, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get," like I like it's such a throwback to like just the way like shows, comics, and everything like that bigger than life, villain, and
Yeah, he did.
taking up the whole page, and stating his claim to whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and the second issue is um it's pretty cool. It's another like really short little story adventure, kind of them getting to know each other. But this one you kind of get a little bit of Space Ghost's backstory, and I don't know if he ever really had one. Like I never caught any glimpses of that in the old cartoon. So this is kind of neat of them showing that like he had a family that got smoked by Robocore. Like his whole planet, like mining planet that he lived on, just completely got wiped out. They don't really show it; they just kind of imply it through the imagery, but
Yeah.
it's pretty brutal. And like Space Ghost was just once a guy called Dax, and he was going to make spaghetti, and that never happened. And
Yeah.
but this is where the kids really start becoming cute and really good characters, in my opinion, especially Jace, because Jan really got to show off in the first issue, but Jace, you really get to get know his sense of humor here with the calling Mr. Space Ghost, like him being like a smartass and stuff like that.
Smartass, yeah.
And like Space Ghost, you kind of get like his little moodiness, you know what I mean? But like this is the issue where he starts warming up to them.
Yeah, he definitely plays the grumpy old man role well.
Yeah. And oh yeah, just the Jonathan Lau's art. I'm not super familiar with him, and I'm sad about that, because like I love his artwork and the way he's able to just show and not tell with his imagery. Just looking at the planet here, and like this first page that I showed you, and then that's all you really need to know about like Space Ghost's backstory so far.
I've got to give props to the colorist as well. Andrew Taylor. Like the way, like just the thumbnail, the image you picked, or when he uses his powers, like the cosmic stuff. Oh man, he does a fantastic job. You'll see later on when the cosmic like powers kick in and stuff, just the glows, the colors, and it really, really freaking looks awesome.
It'll be in just a second here, because they get to the base, and like Space Ghost basically has to go and stop a asteroid shower that's happening. Well, this is the kid Jace is trying to figure out like Space Ghost's tech, because he's like a tech kid and he's like tugging on his cape asking him questions, and Space Ghost is like, these are not toys, these are very serious instruments and blah blah blah. And Jace is just like, okay. And like Space Ghost is like, we'll talk after I stop the asteroid. So like I love the way that they do this. This is a reoccurring theme here with the 3 main panels showing the action. Like there's at least a couple of these every issue, and I don't know, they just look so great the way that they're done. And it's a very old style of panel layout, you know what I mean? That's another thing that's kind of a throwback-ish type thing. And like you said, there's those colors, man, that cosmicness. It's got a new edge to it, but it's also so Bronze Age comic, not quite silver. I'd say Bronze Age, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So Jan, she's just having fun going through Space Ghost's computer, figuring out his stuff, but Jace is bored, so she's kind of like, well, you and Blip go find your own fun. Wrong words entirely. So he decides to steal the Phantom Cruiser, and while he's out gallivanting, he gets chased by this giant energy monster, man, and it's really crazy. So he gets to call Space Ghost to come help him, and like Space Ghost is kind of getting his ass kicked, but Jan kind of comes up with the plan, and it's really smart. I kind of really like the plan here. They basically have they wrangle the energy monster to the solar array and basically broadcast him as a energy. So they through the antenna. I thought that was a pretty cool way to get rid of him, man. I thought that was pretty smart. And they kind of showed their merit here. So Space Ghost brings him in, gives him little jet packs and invisible belts and masks, and they're kind of like
now they're a team.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. I love that panel. It's a great panel.
Yeah, I always wanted to be a superhero. And yeah, I mean, if you don't know, Space Ghost was actually made in response to the Adam West Batman TV show, like, because that really took off, and like that's what kind of bolstered the whole superhero cartoon age. Like they were always kind of superhero cartoons, but like there was a whole batch of them that came out after the Batman TV show, like the Fantastic Four, and but Space Ghost was a direct. So like if you ever looked at Space Ghost and said like, oh, he reminds you of Batman, that there's a good reason for that. He really was directly based off of him. And then we get to the 3rd issue. This is probably one of my favorites, man. I love a good heist issue. And this one kind of oh man, that Spider-Man homage cover by Lee is just great.
Yeah.
And I love these throwbacks.
Show.
Yeah. But like this starts out and it just shows them they kind of just been cruising around kicking ass, you know, trying to find out about RoboCorps and why they did what they did to Jen and Jace's parents. And they're fighting these lizard guys and they're kicking ass, but like the kids are kind of not following Space Ghost's rules, kind of, and he's getting a little agitated to him. But while they're doing this fight, they kind of get interrupted by another villain shows up, the Widow.
Yeah.
And not too familiar with her. She showed up a few times in the cartoons that I saw, but yeah, I really liked her design and the way they kind of played her in this issue, because like basically she shows up and she kind of says tries to strike a truce with Space Ghost. She's like, we can break into RoboCorps together. You can find out what you want, and like I can find out what I want. And like Space Ghost is just kind of like, nah, I'm not interested in all that jazz. But the kids are kind of like, come on, Space Ghost, we hella want to find out. So like he's like, okay. And they kind of come up with this whole plan. It's kind of done all Guy Ritchie style. And I like the way that they do the whole like he thinks that she's breaking his rules, but she's like, oh, they're just tranquilizer darts while they're doing the heist, and she's taking out guards, but like she's not really killing them, I guess, or at least she's lying to him good enough to make him believe she's not. And but you find out that she's actually working with the RoboCorps main guy, Mr. Xander Ebal.
Yeah.
And basically she's gonna try to turn over Blip to them. But like she really likes Jan. She thinks Jan could be like her little sidekick. So she tries to recruit her because Jan actually figures out how her plant stuff works, you know what I mean? Like with her bracelet and stuff, without her even needing to explain it to her. So she thinks that like, oh, this girl's cool, I want to have her kick it with me. But like she basically kind of tells her that like, but we're gonna have to screw over Space Ghost and your brother. So she's like, no, I'm not down with that. So the Widow kind of unleashes her plants on
Jansen. Space Ghost.
Jason Space Ghost, and she got Jan and Blip all tied up too. Oh man, this panel here, like I just had that Space Ghost using his fire ray to try to get out of the plants. So cool. But Jan, man, she just won't take no for an answer. She got her trophy. She uses it to slice her way out, and she does a sneaky thing here. She grabs while Widow's monologuing, you got to take what you want. Jan's like, I'm already ahead of you. She grabs her bracelet and she's just like, guess what, bitch? Like, your plan's mine now. And so, like, she's able to save the day and save everybody. And it's hella funny when Galactic Patrol shows up to try to bust Space Ghost and them. She's all tied up and hanging from the ceiling. And then now we get to like the really big crux. This is what really impressed me. This was going to be the hard part for Dave and Jonathan to pull off, making Zorak scary. And I think that they pulled it off pretty well. I don't think that they made him scary. What I think, I want to have David back on. I want to ask him if he really likes a movie that I like called Lockout. It's a movie with Guy Pearce and Joe Gilligan, where Joe Gilligan's like this crazy guy who kind of takes over the space station, and like his brother wants to get stuff out of it, but Gilligan's just crazy and wants to just kill everybody. And like Zorak, the way he's drawn and the way he acts, hella reminds me of Joe Gilligan in that movie. So I want to ask David Pepose if Zorak's based off of Joe Gilligan. So I'm pretty sure he is. But like here, you get the issue just starts out with him like staging a prison riot and just like killing these guards. Like I said, this is why I'm saying that like this would be a good like first edgy comic for a kid. You know what I mean? It's got some gore. It's got a little bit of scariness to it.
Like that is a bit of a scary panel. Like the creature coming out with a knife, the glowing eyes. You know, I mean, for sure.
And then all of a sudden back at the Space Ghost cave and stuff, the alarm goes off and the kids are like, we never heard an alarm like this. And Space Ghost is like, it's because you're never supposed to. He's escaped, you know, and he's getting all crazy. And he basically tells the kids like, I'm going on this one alone. And if you guys disobey me, I'm kicking you out. So like he bounces and like he's remembering the last time he had to fight Zorak, and you know it came down to blows because Zorak, he's in this, he's like an evil cult leader and he wants to unleash Lokar, the locust of the apocalypse, out of who everybody thinks is a myth. And it's my favorite thing that they did in this book because they actually like it's true. He actually ends up being real, and I like that so much in it. You know what I mean? And this is kind of where we're gonna get really vague with what we're gonna drop because we want people to really enjoy this arc, you know what I mean, when they pick up the trade. So basically he tells the kids, like I said, like if you guys disobey me, you gotta find another place to live. So he takes off to where he thinks Zorak's gonna be, because where he fought him the last time. When he gets there, there's a giant robot waiting for him called Titantor or Titanor. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Titanor?
Titanor? Yeah, Titanor. Whatever. I mean,
which is really cool. I'm like I said, I'm so glad they didn't try to update this stuff. I'm glad that it looks old, fucking 1960s sci-fi. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it just looks so classy. You know what I mean? It's a great robot design. Meanwhile, back at the space station, the kids get another distress call from a big hadron collider on a space station, and they're just asking for help. They don't know really what's going on, so they're like, oh, we could go help these people, you know, while Space Ghost is gone, and like, you know, he won't get mad at us. So they take this little ship that Jace has been making, and they kind of skidoo over there. But oh man, these panels of Space Ghost fighting Titan are fucking so cool, man. Like Jonathan Lau is awesome. Like I said, I am new to this artist, but like he really won me over with this series, man.
Yeah, he and the colorist really work well together.
Yeah, they nail it. But basically, the kids get there and they find out that like actually he's taken over the Hadron Collider. It's part of his big plan and shit. So like they decide that like, okay, we're gonna rescue the hostages, then we're gonna take off and then tell Space Ghost that this is where he's at. You know what I mean? But that doesn't really work. They got their invisible cloaks on, but like they shoot them with this green dye that makes them visible, and like they get captured. And basically Oh, dude, so fucking good.
Yeah, that battle with the big robot is awesome. Yeah, yeah. There's so many great panels in it. Like the one eye closed a little more, and the other makes him look more crazy.
Yeah.
Good design.
I gotta load some panels from the next issue. My bad.
Yeah, but yeah, like you said, man, it's great stuff. It's a 6. The first trade will be the first 6 issues, which is usually it's like 4 or 5, but 6. So you'll be getting a good chunk of story. And I think issue 6, the final issue of the trade, is a one shot. So this, I think, the Zorak story takes up issues 4 and 5, and then issue 6 is a one shot to close out the trade. Like we said, the trade drops next week on November 26th, so people will be able to go pick that up. And it's a fun comic, like really fun, like we said, a little bit of a throwback, fun sci-fi adventure. You know, like we were saying, just say pretty much set up a villain of the week type thing. I don't know if later on, as a story goes, if you'll get more overreaching arcs that go multiple issues, but like we said, this one that Johnny's loading up now, the Zorak storyline, is a 2-issue arc, which is the longest one. All the other ones are pretty much villain of the week type stuff. You know, there's a small thread that goes throughout all the stories, but in general, like there's no long arcs with the villains and stuff like that.
So Zorak basically tells him he's got the kids, and Space Ghost has got to come to the Hadron Collider and turn himself in. So Space Ghost shows up. He's like smoking fools, but then he like drops down. He's like, okay. And Zorak basically, he wants him to shoot his gauntlets at the Large Hadron Collider to open up the doorway for Lokor, the Locust of Apocalypse. And that's kind of where I want to end this, because the gates open. The kids actually get rescued by Blip. Blip never actually gets captured, so he lets the kids out. But how do they get out of this sticky situation, and what happens, and what are the moral implications and fallout of this storyline? Because this actually gets a little deep. It gets a little hard. Like the kids actually get abused in this issue. These guards here beat the hell out of Jace, man. So like this has some stakes to it. It gets a little brutal. Like I'm saying, it's not going to be the hardest core thing you'll read, but like if you're a youngster, man, this will be like a pretty good, fun little hardcore book to check out. You know, get you into. So that's kind of where we're gonna kind of leave off. The last issue has Moltar in it. That's going to be the big monster of the last issue of the arc. But there's so much of that story ties in with the ending of the Zorak story that I don't want to get into that issue, because I don't want to spoil anything, because the stinger of at the end of issue 5 really, really resonates, and I think that they did a great job with it. So I really want people to pick up the trade next week and just read it and have a great time with it. And maybe we'll get back into this another time.
Yeah,
you know, on the baseball bat. That's what happens to poor old Jace, man. Actually, it's kind of more of like a cattle prod.
Yeah, space prod. Yeah. Actually, I'll load up. Is there room to load more pictures?
Here, let me clean some for you, man, really fast.
Here, I found your movie you were talking about.
Okay.
And then will it be able to load? While you were talking, I went and found it. Oh, maybe I didn't. I thought I had downloaded it. Maybe not. Damn it. Lockout. So that's the one where he has the tattoos and everything. Joseph Gilgan.
He always has tattoos.
No, but I meant before he had tattoos. Like a lot of those I think are fake on the. So there's always that one. He has like a weird like glass eye in it or something, right?
Yeah, his eye's dead because somebody burned it out with a lighter.
Okay. I think I might have seen that movie. So I always wondered what that was from when I saw like pictures of him and stuff. So
yeah, sequential, man. Like I don't know how you feel about Space Ghost, but like this is definitely one that you might want to check out. I had a lot of fun with this book, especially for nostalgia sake. I hear you, bro. Yeah. Yeah, the cover for the movie's not really that great anyways, so.
No, it's you're like generic close up of the main actor with the girl in the background and stuff. So I don't know where it went. I thought it went right onto my desktop, but weird.
Yeah, the Jay Lee covers are great, especially the ones with Zorak, man.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I love the evolution of his style and everything. I mean, just good stuff.
Yeah, this one's probably my favorite right here. Classic Zorak with the blue boots and gloves and yellow boots and gloves.
Or the one where he's holding Jace upside down too is pretty good.
It's got a bit of grit and realness to it, but at the same time, it's got that Hanna-Barbera cheese to it still. So they skate this Razor's Edge really well. You know, keeping it true to itself while reimagining it a bit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just glad that they didn't try to update it. Like we were saying earlier, like with the robot designs and stuff like that, they kept it like the old 1960s cheese look. I respect that. You know what I mean? I take it over, you know, some damn.
Mm-hmm. I like it that it has a bit of that throwback feel to it. I mean, we don't get enough comics that have that, like Villain of the Week and stuff, and you got the fun relationship between Space Ghost and the two kids with the monkey. You know, it has stakes, but not stakes to the point of, you know, where, like you said, just it has stakes, but very mild stakes. So it's not, you know, it's not gonna shock you to the point of like you throwing the book down and being like, I'm not fucking reading this anymore.
Hot take here, Chase, man. I'm not the hugest fan of Alex Ross, man. Like him and his painted mannequins, like they're cool for a couple minutes, man. But once you've seen like a couple of his covers, you've seen them all, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I liked when he did the interiors for those first couple arcs of Dark Tower too, man. Like with him and Peter David, that was actually a really fun book until they switch creative teams, like I think at book 2 or 3.
Okay.
Yeah, back when Marvel was actually ambitious and tried to actually put out fucking put out stuff outside of their normal wheel crap.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, I'm not trying to shit on him. And like, yeah, when he does interiors, it's usually really neat, man. Like when he did that Uncle Sam book, like he does some great stuff, but like a lot of his covers, man, you can tell he just like, I don't know. Like, same thing with I love David Mack, but like I'm kind of getting the same way with his covers these days. You know what I mean? You're like, okay, David Mack, how many times can you do 1,000 triangles around somebody's head? You know, like, come on,
yeah.
bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, back in the Marvel short-lived Vertigo era, straight up. Yep. Back then, before they had all their crappy events to lean on, they actually tried to put out interesting and groundbreaking work for a minute there. But yeah, I don't want to turn this into a Marvel hate train. So yeah, everybody check out Space Ghost by David Pepose and Jonathan Lau from Dynamite Entertainment. I'm actually surprised that label's still around, man. Like every now and then, yeah, like every now and then I see something new come out from them. I'm like, whoo, they're still kicking, huh?
Yeah,
And
well, they got the license for all those Marvel books like Darkwing Duck, Gargoyles. They're the ones who released all that. So
they got all those Disney licenses from
yeah, from like the afternoon cartoons there. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, they were doing those.
Where
Obviously,
did where did they get the money? Like, I don't know anybody that really reads their stuff too much, but
no, but they have Evil Ernie. They have Vampirilla. What else? They have Barbarella.
I think this Space Ghost is selling really well because they,
Yeah.
from what I understand, this creative team's staying on it, which is rare for Dynamite book to do after one arc to keep the actual good creative team on it. So, yeah.
Yeah. What else do they have? They Dynamite has right now. They still have the Evil Dead franchise. I think they still have the rights for that to produce those books. You know, they have a few licensed products that are pretty popular. So,
Yeah, that's good. I mean, like they were, yeah, the house that Ennis built, kind of like I never heard of them until they bought Boys. You know, after Wildstorm shit the bed on that one, and
yeah.
DC decided they didn't want to keep it.
Yeah, that's I don't know when the new season's coming out. Anyway. Mm-hmm.
Space Ghost is actually Warner Brothers. So I guess a lot like Disney, they just kind of sold Dynamite a bunch of the stuff that they didn't want to publish anymore either, because yeah, I think Warner's owns all that old Hanna-Barbera stuff, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
They bought it when they got all the Turner shit. When they bought all the Ted Turner stuff. So Space Ghost should, yeah. So like, yeah, they got from what I understand, they're doing Johnny Quest, and I think they might be doing a Birdman comic too. Maybe Blue Falcon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw that. I think who's the artist on that? Oh, I saw they were doing is it Dynamite that's putting it out? Silverhawks. Is that Dynamite?
Silverhawks.
The cartoon.
That was, yeah, they were kind of like Thundercats, but in space, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they had like they flew, and you know they all had wings in different colors. There's like the girl, the big buff guy, the smaller guy. You know, like your typical team makeup of the Brute. Yeah.
Oh, so they're okay. That makes sense because Image is making all that money with all those other toy comics. So everybody's going to be trying to do toy comics now. I gotcha.
Yeah. I think Ed Brisson's the one who writes that as well. So
at Dynamite, they got Eddie at Ed Brisson.
I'll double check, but Silverhawks. I'm not sure if it's Dynamite. Yeah. I just saw something.
Chase says that they're doing Silverhawks. So
yeah, and it's Ed, I'm pretty sure I saw Ed Brisson as the writer on that. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Wow. So they actually got some name talent working for him now too. That's pretty cool.
Well, I mean, I like a book like this. You get David on with some great art, and it sells well, right? So that'll attract other creators to come in and take a stab at some of some of these IP licensed products, right? There's a Stoko variant. I hadn't seen that yet. I haven't seen it floating around socials. Is Thundercats Dynamite? Are they the ones who have the rights to do the Thundercats?
Maybe, I don't know. Like, I know that I'm pretty sure that Rankin and Bass did both Thundercats and Silverhawks, but like I don't know who owns the copyright to that. And, like, since Thundercats is a bigger property, like maybe somebody else, like maybe Dark Horse has it. I'm not sure, but I don't know. I haven't seen a Thundercats comic, but I don't really pay too much attention to IP.
That stuff, yeah.
I don't even read the Image Toy Factory comics, so yeah.
Yeah, like what is it? Now they're doing a huge line of G.I. Joe, right? How many G.I. Joe titles do they have?
They have a G.I. Joe comic for like every single character. Destro has its own comic, and like
Duke, yeah. So I don't know who does it. Doesn't say here. But I'm sure it's probably floated around kind of like Space Ghost and stuff. Probably a few people. Yeah, Dynamite did do Thundercats at one point. I don't know if they're the ones doing it now. It was over at Wildstorm before. So yeah, so they probably got it at the same time they got all the other Wildstorm stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was at Wildstorm before.
Because I know that Dark Horse has He-Man, and that's kind of the only toy shit I know that they're putting out. But
yeah, who was on the Thundercats? Declan Shelby and Drew Moss. I remember seeing that a little while back, and of course Jay Lee does a beautiful cover. Does some beautiful covers there too. Man, that dude is crazy. He does enough covers to do like the equivalent of an interior each month, right? With all the variants he does each month on different comics.
I tell you what, man, they get Alan Richson to play Space Ghost. They get some charming ass little kids to play the kids. Like they'd have a damn good Space Ghost movie, you know what I mean? And it would pack theaters, you know what I mean? Like all they'd have to do is like have a cool ass Zorak, you know what I mean? Get Joe Gilgan to play him.
Yeah, that's it. You already called it, man. Just get him to play. Yeah. But I mean, that actor, you could get him to play. What's his name? Rickman? Is it?
Alan Richson, yeah.
Alan Richson. He could play a plethora of different characters, right? In any kind of comic universe. He's crazy. Like he's got the size. He's a decent actor. I mean, someone's gonna have to sign him to some big ass role somewhere. I mean, he's too good. He's got a great build. I mean, one of these fucking.
Well, he wants to play Batman, but I know that like James Gunn's not going to hire him. So like Space Ghost, Batman.
I don't want to see him as Batman. I'm fucking. Yeah. I'm getting burnt out on fucking Batman and Spider-Man movies and all that shit. So. I know people love it and they can't get enough of it, but I don't know. I've been underwhelmed of late with all that shit.
Word.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's our Space Ghost Volume 1.
Yeah, man.
And don't forget, next week you can pick it up on the 26th. What's that? That's Tuesday, I assume? Tuesday or Wednesday? Next Tuesday. They'll be hitting shops. Yeah.
So be sure to, have you put in your pull box because that's definitely going to be a sweet get. And I'm pretty sure, I think Dynamite trades are only like $14-16. They're not bad. So
it's not bad. Especially this is a 6-issue trade for the first one. So I don't know if that affects the price, but.
Good call. Yeah, he is kind of a more family-oriented one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about him as Booster Gold. He's not silly enough. He's I think actually I kind of really don't want to see Booster Gold in live action because you already have Deadpool, you know what I mean? And like from what Kevin Feige said, like all Marvel's going to be now is Deadpool and Wolverine, and like once they kind of put Booster Gold in the DCU, that's kind of he's just going to be everywhere because, in my opinion, that's all fucking Booster Gold is DC's Deadpool.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if that's your sales pitch for the rest of the Marvel universe is fucking Deadpool Wolverine, I'm out.
I don't know. I'm pretty psyched for the Thunderbolts movie. I think it looks pretty rad, but
yeah, you dropped that trailer in the chats the other time, and yeah, we'll see.
That and the Creature Commando show for DC looks good. So like they both have a couple things that like I'm actually looking forward to in the near future. So
yeah, that Creature Commando, the animation looks stellar in that.
Yeah, he's pretty funny. He's really good in Reacher too, but like I don't know about him being slapsticky like fucking Booster Gold, you know, like fart jokes and shit like that.
Yeah. What's his name? Who's in Twister? That actor.
Yeah, the guy that was in Twister. That guy would be a good Booster Gold.
Booster Gold, yeah. What's his name? Oh, shit. I can't remember his name, but he would be perfect as Booster Gold. Yeah, he already plays Booster Gold in that Twister movie, how he's trying to sell all his merchandise and fucking, you know? Yeah.
Maybe someday. But yeah, that's this episode. I really hope you guys liked it and check out Space Ghost, man.
Yeah. And Thursday, we're coming back.
Yeah.
We're going to have some friends on. We're going to be recapping their new, they went to New York Comic-Con, and they've been making it an annual tradition. So we'll have them on, and they're going to show us their loot and talk to us, maybe stories from Comic-Con. See if anyone shat on the floor this year, any weird stories like that. So we'll be back on Thursday with Cookie, Juan, and Dean to tell us about this year's experience at New York Comic-Con.
And then after that, we're gonna have that's way over on the 30th, right? When we're gonna have
John
Little, Power 9. He's already kind of making a name for himself. He's blowing up big on YouTube.
Yeah, he made it a little clip on Ink Pulp. What's his name? Jim Mahfood does a lot of guest appearances on that, and it's Ashley Charles or something like that. I can't remember the guy's name. The main guy who started it. Anyway, they're kind of filling the void a little bit since the demise of the.
Oh, speaking of which, man, actually, YouTube's finally started to pay attention to that. Really good video just got put out today on Ed Pisker by Gamer from Mars. I mean, I already know all the information, but like for people that don't know, it's actually a pretty respectful, well-rounded video on the subject. So yeah, if anybody's interested in that, there is actually a pretty good YouTube video about one of the saddest things that happened this year. So maybe check that out. So until we see you guys Thursday, take it easy and stay classy, y'all.